Okay, so in this lesson, we're actually going to talk about what I like to call one man's problems is another man's opportunity. So this is sort of a mind frame that you need to have as an investor because sometimes these problems that I'm talking about related to real estate may affect you or they could be problems that affect other people. But for every problem scenario, usually in real estate, there's an opportunity scenario as well in real estate. So in this lecture, that's what I want to talk about. I just want you guys to get your mind frame ready so that the next time you may personally have an issue related to real estate, you start to look for the opportunity from that issue. Or if you hear about your neighbor, a friend of yours, or a friend of a friend, or a family member having a problem related to real estate, there is a alternative solution usually to those problems. So we'll just talk about some of those examples and how that actually played a part in my starting to invest in real estate. I told you a little bit about it before in the introduction about how I got involved in real estate because there was definitely a problem. But anyway, let's talk about that, okay? So I want you to get your mind ready. As an investor, anytime you hear about a problem in real estate, you start looking for that solution or that opportunity. So first, the biggest one that people usually encounter is that property values do fluctuate. Okay, so they go up and they go down. That's what I mean by fluctuate. So if you look at a graph of real estate over time, so let's take a look at a graph of real estate over time. Okay, so look at this graph of the U.S. housing price index since 1900. So it goes back so far that you can't see the major fluctuations, but you can see over time it's going up, but it fluctuated and it went down like around the 90s, right? Went down. Then it started ramping back up in 2000 and got really high, and then it started to decline all the way down to like 2010, and dropped. So it's fluctuating. So it went all the way up and then it went down. So, but that happens if we compress this graph into a smaller graph with less years, you would see those fluctuations a little bit stronger. So the thing you need to know is that the real estate values fluctuate, but over time they tend to go up. Especially the longer you look at that time period, the more they go up. If you look at it from a problem standpoint, it's when the market drops and it goes like so. Let's say last year the price of the homes in your neighborhood were right around $200,000 last year. Then a year later to today, those same houses average, instead of averaging 200,000, they average 150,000. So that for a lot of people could be considered a problem, especially if someone has an equity loan and they see, not only do they have their mortgage, but they have a home equity loan, and now they owe more than the house is worth. And they're like, man, what am I doing in this house? I want to walk away from this loan. So that could be the scenario for one person. Another scenario is, and this is what the scenario was for me, actually. I own this house and now I want to move. Maybe I got a job in another city and the property values have dropped from 200,000 when I bought it now to 150,000. It's a problem for me because I'm ready to move. So that's another problem scenario, right? Based on your perspective, when the market drops, it's a problem. But also for other people, let's say you don't have real estate right now and the market gets high. So last year, let's say the reverse scenario, the houses were worth 150,000 and this year they're worth 200,000. You're like, man, I should have bought a house last year because they were cheaper and now the real estate's too expensive. Man, that's a problem, right? Because you're ready to buy a house. But let's look at the flip side to both of those issues with the property's values fluctuating. What are the opportunities? So for all of those people in scenario one where the property values dropped and people are ready to walk away from their loans, people need to move and they want to sell their homes, but they can't. So that actually happens. People walk away from their homes. Those homes default, loans default. The bank ends up owning the homes. That's where that REO term comes from, real estate owned by the banks. And that becomes an opportunity for an investor to buy properties, what they call distressed, because people walked away from the loans. They could buy those properties from the bank, or if those properties were insured by FHA, those properties go to HUD, and then you can actually buy those properties at a discount from HUD. So that's their opportunity. That is the opportunity when people walk away from those loans because the market has dropped, and it's too low. Or if it's you in that scenario and your house is underwater and the property values have tanked, then you can do like I did and start looking for more properties to buy. And that's how you sort of hedge your losses. So you protect yourself from any further market losses. Like if you were to sell your home or something like that, buy some real estate while it's down. And then when it comes back up, you'll be sitting in a good position, not only with your original house, but with the new property that you purchased when the market starts coming back. And in the meantime, you can rent it out. Now, what about the scenario when property values are too high? Now you can say the market is too expensive. So if you're a homeowner, that's not really a problem because it's an opportunity for you to sell your house for a profit or pull out equity and maybe invest in other real estate. But if you are thinking about buying a home and the prices are high, you might consider getting into the flip market, okay? So looking for distressed properties that are maybe people that need to hurry up and sell, so they're motivated sellers, or you look for properties that are run down, maybe they houses that were burnt down, that kind of thing, or not taken care of, so they're below market value. Then it's an opportunity for you to buy that house, fix it up, and then sell it for a profit in a high market. So it's a good opportunity to start doing flips. Or if you're even more adventurous, it may be an opportunity for you to start building houses from the ground up, which is what I'm looking at doing now based on our current real estate market. So there's always a flip side to every problem. So, people that maybe need to move and they think they're stuck with the house, then that's your opportunity to rent the house out and become an investor. When I did my first property, I lived there and I was ready to move, but the market was down. That was the problem. The solution was I'll just rent this house out. That's how I learned to be a landlord. Rent the house out, and then I made a profit every month from renting that house out. Now that house is paid off thanks to my renter, and it's pulling in over $1,200 a month in gross rental income because of that problem. Okay, see, you can kind of get the picture, right? Another scenario, right? Problem. This is a real true story. In the neighborhood that I live in now, one of my neighbors was an elderly gentleman who passed away, and very nice neighborhood, very nice houses. It was the first time somebody, I guess, passed away in this neighborhood, and this house went up for sale in an estate sale. But all of the neighbors, we actually had the opportunity, and there was actually two houses like this. But anyway, the neighbors had the opportunity to buy that house before the general public even knew about it, because the people that owned the estate circulated the idea of selling the house to us first. And it was actually a missed opportunity for me because I should have had my ducks in order if I was a more seasoned investor or if I had a course like this to learn. But I should have bought that house and I should have fixed it up. And it really was a pretty new house. It just needed to be cleaned up, painted, and made to look more modern. But man, that house at the time that the gentleman passed away, I think they wanted around $390 for the house, and now that same house is worth at least $500,000, and I should have bought it. Okay, so anyway, that was a problem scenario, but it was also an opportunity scenario. Also, let's talk about the scenario that we all have seen before: a house in the neighborhood burns down. So who's gonna buy that house when it's burnt down? What's gonna happen with that vacant lot? Is it gonna sit there forever? Where I grew up, I'm in my 40s now. Where I grew up, there was a vacant lot up until just this year when they started building a house for the first time in over 40 years. That was a burnt down house in a vacant lot. And somebody's just now jumping on the opportunity to build a house in that neighborhood where I grew up. And that neighborhood has come back crazy. Like the houses used to be worth around $40,000 or $50,000. Now those houses are going for $300,000 or $400,000. So there's all types of opportunities. And a real opportunity that I did jump on and take advantage of is A property burned down some years ago. I bought the land because I had no experience building houses at that point in time. I was doing rehabs, but I was trying to build my network and my connections. And my plan was to either sell that property or that land for a profit or turn around and build a house on that land. So I bought that land for about $8,000. It was a vacant lot where there was a burnt down house. Bought it for about $8,000, and now we are building a house on that property that should have a value of over $200,000 when we're finished. And I hope to spend no more than $140,000 to get it done. So that was an opportunity with the burnt down house. So that was a problem, and then the opportunity. And that's what we affectionately call the Huracan Project, because when I bought that land and put that plan together, that was my justification for getting my dream car, which was a Lamborghini Huracan. And there's all types of videos on my YouTube channel that some of you have seen. And if you haven't, definitely take a look. Pretty cool stuff. So anyway, what's my point with this lecture? I hope you're getting the point. It's a mind frame that I want you to have as an investor. There's always two sides to every issue, the problem side and the opportunity side. And you, as an investor, need to think about that opportunity side in every scenario. So that's pretty much it with this lesson. Feel free to ask questions, and I'll see you in the next lecture. Thanks for staying awake. And if you're not awake, wake up. We got a lot to learn.